Girls are leaders, girls are change makers, girls are driving good and growth around the world. They are a fundamental source of transformational change for gender equality. And technology is a crucial tool to support their work, activism, and leadership. This is a statement from the UN Women buttressing the importance placed on the girl child in tailoring development globally. As much as this sounds impressive, it is not a hidden fact that the girl child to date is facing a lot of discrimination and marginalization and even violation, hindering her from developing full potential to explore the environment around her. This is most common in the developing world, with Nigeria not an exception. On the spot this week, we'll take a look at the plight of the girl child and the need to enhance her full potential for societal development. I am Joseph Watson. Welcome to the program. My guest is a girl child education and women empowerment advocate with a heart dedicated to fostering positive change. My guest has crafted out her career towards championing the cause of educational equity and female leadership. She is a graduate of mass communication from the University of Maiduguri and holds a master's degree in the same field from the National Open University of Nigeria. She's an associate of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. From there, she gets her calling to advocate for the girl, child, and women empowerment. On the spot is the program manager at the Girl Education Foundation, Samira Galadima. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we are talking girl child, and around the world, especially in advanced country, nobody pays so much attention about discussing the girl child because she's just a normal person like any other person, and her subject is a subject just like any other subject. This is because it is her right to education, it is her right for her well-being, her health, and so on. But when we come down to developing countries, Africa, Nigeria not an exception, when you talk about the girl child, there's a lot to talk about. Why are we still talking so much about the girl child in the 21st century?
It is imperative to talk about the girl child because this year, the theme around the International Day of the Girl Child is Girls' Vision for the Future. Girls' Vision for the Future is to look at what are the current problems that girls are facing and how can we remove those bottlenecks and problems that will hinder them from realizing their goal in the future. So first of all, we need to understand that in Nigeria, it is a big issue because we currently have 20 million out of school children in Nigeria, and out of that number, over 60% are girls. The Child's Rights Act, which was passed in Nigeria, was signed into law in 2003, has not been domesticated in so many states. It took Nigeria 13 years. I think it's just this year that we're able to get all the 36 states to domesticate the Child's Rights Act. And in some parts of the states, in some parts of the country, some call it the Child Protection Bill, while some call it the Child's Rights Act. So this is to show you that girls' agency is of utmost importance. We have 71% of people that are trafficked that are girls. Victims of child trafficking are girls and women. So these are issues that surround the agency of the girl child. That is why we need to talk about these problems. The girl is facing significant issues. Look at the VAP Act. The VAP Act that was signed into law, we have a bill now, it has passed second reading in the Senate, to repeal that act. And that VAP Act is supposed to protect people against gender-based violence. And who are the most survivors of gender-based violence? Who are the most victims? They are girls and women. So if they are even repealing, so that means we are going back and forth. Also, Last month, we saw that the list of our board members was out for the Northwest Development Commission, and out of that list, there is not a single woman on that list. So why won't we talk about the girls? If they don't have representation on those boards, how will they be able to perform? How will they reach their point? Who will speak for them? So those are the issues that we're facing.
Okay, there have been so much advocacy. You are one of the people who are out there advocating for the girl child's education and her rights and so on. Why is this message not sinking down?
Thank you. The message is actually sinking because women have started realizing that they need to participate. But, like I mentioned, there are bottlenecks. So when you don't have those laws in place, the laws are very important. When the laws that protect you are not in place, then there's a lot of issue. There are a lot of cases of rape that they are not tried. And the reason why is because those parents, they don't want their daughters to be stigmatized. They feel that if we follow up this case to the end and my daughter and the perpetrator is punished or something, my daughter will not get married. Nobody wants to marry her. So we need to start with, that's why we're advocating. We're doing a lot of community engagement to make the mothers, the women and the fathers understand that your girl's, her life, her dignity is more important than what people say. So these are some of the issues that we face. We need to work with community. That's what we've been doing. We've been advocating every day that these laws that we have in place, let them be implemented. But they are not being implemented. Nigeria has a lot of policies. We have beautiful laws, but implementation is our problem. So it's only when we work together collectively that we can achieve our common goal. For example, the most important thing in helping a girl or a woman achieve her goal is education. That's why at Other Girl Education Foundation, we have taken 150 girls that we're sponsoring through school. We provide them with school supplies, breakfast token, and mentorship support. So we need to understand that education, like the UBA Act say that education is just for 9 years. That's primary school and junior secondary school. But we realize that a lot of girls drop out after junior secondary school to get married. So if that act can be changed to 12 years of compulsory, free and compulsory education, I think we can go a long way in this country. If we can say that for you to be certified that you've finished basic education should include senior secondary school, we can achieve a lot. So that's why we as civil society organizations, we work with the government, we work with the people at the community. We're like a bridge between the government and the people. So we're working with girls, we're working with governments, and we're working with organizations that can come together and see what they can do for the girls, advocacy for the girls' plights. So these are the basic issues around girls. And if girls are not educated, it is a known saying that if you give a girl a seed, she'll give you a tree. If you give a girl a house, she'll give you a home. So we are multipliers. We know how to multiply. So that is the reason why we're trying to make men understand that we have a lot of men that are joining our team, the male advocates. We call them the he for she's. And we need support. So the most important thing is that at the grassroots, we need to understand that we need to get girls, we need to get families that support girls. If a girl has a supportive father or supportive husband, she thrives a lot. I'm sure you have a lot of examples of girls like that. So we need our support system. But if we do not have that support system, then we will not be able to achieve our goals.
Okay. Talking about legislation and then talk about tradition, culture, religion, and so on. It seems that many Nigerians, including the women themselves who are corporate to this, they hold on to the religion, they hold on to the culture, they hold on to the tradition, even above the law itself. And that's why sometimes it's very difficult for anybody to advance the law in given communities to tackle these issues like this. And even, as I said, even women are corporate to this. How much of this you think you have hindered this advocacy for women and girl child development?
I agree with you. So we're trying to work with those people in the community to understand and show them why, if you kind of like move away from this, those religions, they don't state that a girl should not be educated. There is no religion that states that. Because in Islam, you're allowed to be educated. You can go up to, I think they said as far as China. That's in sin. That's in the Islamic context. So women, the first, we had women educators. We have them, Rabia. Even the first university in the world was by Fatima. and she's a Moroccan, she's a Muslim. So we need to understand that there is no religion that tells you don't go to school, don't go and get educated, but it is the interpretation that is the problem. So when we have issues of interpretation, that is why we need we need to bring in, and that's what we've been doing, the religious and traditional leaders into our programming. Like now, there are a lot of activities that are going to help them see how they can establish bylaws. Because if it's an issue that is at the community level, it's only bylaws there that work. Except if you take it to the state level, then we'll have the state legislators that will now work on that using the state bills and whatever. So what is going on right now is to establish bylaws in the community and to make the people, education is very key, make those people in the community be aware. We've been doing a lot of sensitization and awareness efforts to ensure that the people know their rights. For example, now, there was a case in Jigawa, like there was a program there with SBMCs, that's the school-based management communities. So initially, when we go for those kind of meetings, the SBMCs, what they do is the men will sit in the classroom and have the conversation while they'll tell the women to sit outside. So it's only the men. When you have the PTA meetings or whatever, you have it only with the men. So the women representation is not even there. So later, when we saw those kind of things, so a group decided to call the women, and had a session with them. They were able to train them and build their capacity in interpersonal communication and advocacy, so that they could also have their own voice. They could amplify their voice and use it to create change in their community. So at the end of the day, what happened was these women, I think it was in Briniwa, one of the communities there in Jigawa, went to meet their traditional. So when next we're having another meeting, so the men just came and they saw the women. They would say, "What are you doing here?" Say, "Yes, we are part of this meeting, so we have something to say." And it was successful because the women were able to give their voice, and the men could not tell them, "Oh no, go back home." And all. So these kind of things, this kind of advocacy efforts and education and awareness that we're doing in communities have been helping a lot. These women went to meet their traditional leader at Birniwa, and they told him that they have a lot of work to do. So because of that, they want the men to be fetching firewood for them and fetching water. And the traditional leader, "Oh, are you serious?" He now reasoned with them, and that happened. So now in that community, it's the men that fetch the water for them, and what do? They bring the firewood for them. So it has reduced the burden.
Call that discrimination against men or what?
No, it's not discrimination. I'm trying to tell you that when you empower women, when you tell them that they should do things, when you show them the way, they'll be able to do it.
Not suppressing men.
No, it's not suppressing. How is it suppressing? It's not suppressing men in any way.
Some men could interpret it like that.
No, women do a lot of work at home. So why don't you just help us fetch firewood and bring water so that we'll cook the food for you, we'll serve you delicious hot meal. At least you're contributing. And your children see you as an example. So those are the kind of things. We're trying to change the vicious cycle of seeing women as the subjects, when women are not the subjects. Or rather the object. Women are not the object. So we need to try to see how we can work together to do things together. And we can only do that when we work together, power of collective action. So that is why I'm a member of the coalition of the civil society action to end child marriage. So these are the things we've been doing a lot of advocacy and sensitization efforts. I know it's not enough, but we're getting there. We will get there someday.
Okay, talk about supporting women, girls supporting girls. Let's talk about role modeling. This is again where I question a lot of women, especially women in leadership. You are one of the people championing women leadership and participation in leadership. When it comes to women supporting women, especially in elections and so on, you say now that the same woman will go vote a man. When there was a woman candidate in the last general election, it was obvious. Not many women scaled through. But we have a very large number of women voting. In short, when you go to polling units, the first people that you see turn out most of the time are women.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, they end up voting for the men. You are rather not serving as a role model to the young girls coming up.
Okay, thank you for that question. So at the core of what we do at Ada Girl Education Foundation is ensuring that girls become leaders. We visualize a country where on every decision-making table there's a girl. So that is why our motto at Ada Girl Education Foundation is from cradle to leadership. And mentorship is one of our core principles, one of our strategies that we're using. Those 150 girls I told you that we have paired them with mentors. So they see those girls, like the founder of our organization, the chairperson is Justice Zainabul Kachua. And she came from a small community at Nafada. And she was able to rise through the ranks and become the first female president of the Court of Appeal. So we have shown them that if somebody from that village, Gombe, a Fulani girl can actually do that, then you can also do that. So we have paired those girls with mentors, and they are helping them through life. So we're trying to see how we can affect their whole life trajectory. Not just, we don't stop as when they are done with university, because we have girls in primary school, we have girls in secondary school, and we have girls in tertiary school. And we have also helped some to get jobs. There was this Voices of Women program. They had I think the AGM here in Abuja, where they talked about issues surrounding women representation in politics. And they presented a survey that they conducted. So from that survey, they mentioned that a lot of women were not voting women because they felt that the women were not talking to them. So they said that we didn't vote them. There's women at the grassroots that we didn't vote them because they didn't come to talk to us. So that's one issue. And why didn't the women go to talk to them? Funding. So the funding is a huge driver in political campaign and whatever. So if you do not have the money to drive that, the women might not know you. Because, for example, now, let's say we are in Nigeria, we have 774 local governments. So imagine if you want to become a president and you have to go around all those local governments. Would you be able to finance that? It might be very difficult for you to finance that. So that is one of the issues. And another issue was like, they just felt that because it's already in them that a woman should not lead. So they feel that, okay, no, this woman, she's a stubborn woman. Because it's stereotypes. They think that women that come out to be leaders are stubborn women. And I don't know why the men are not seen as stubborn men that are into politics. So that is why we said we're doing a lot of social and behavioral change communication to make them understand that this person is your representative. If I go there, I'm going to represent all of you. I have a voice, because when you're in pain, I know your pain, I feel your pain, more than a man that has never gone through that pain.
Okay, we'll talk much about this perception about women heading the house or taking the lead in so many cases, where the perception comes that when women are there, they are like stubborn and so on. We'll discuss that more when we come back from this short break. Okay, stay with us as we take this short break.
Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news.
Now, welcome back to On the Spot West Program Manager, Adult Girl Education Foundation, Samira Galadima. Before we went on that break, you were talking about the perception of women when they are in leadership position. Some people feel that they are arrogant, stubborn, or sometimes suppressive. A lot of men question. I hear men talk about that. They say a man will build a house for a woman, buy a car for her. She still do a lot of things, but the house will be stable. But when you find a woman where a woman will have to fill the house for just 1 week, hell for the man. How true is this?
Yeah, I do not agree with you here.
Okay.
Because I know that if a woman gives her all, she's not like the man that today he gives you half, tomorrow he gives you half, or he has so many, his heart is divided into many places. A woman gives her all. So I think the main issue is, how did you treat that woman when you had it all? Were you very loving? Were you supportive of her? Were you listening to her? Did you listen to her opinion? Did you take them into consideration?
But even when women don't do this, men still give all the care.
Not necessarily, because when a woman is in position, she tries to make sure that she doesn't fail. We have that thing within us that we don't want to fail. We hate failure because we know that when we fail, we're not just failing as a human being. They are looking at us as a woman that failed. So that is why a lot of women that you see, very high professional women, what they do, when they are working, they give their job the all. They don't, because they want to be seen as, you're not a superwoman. Don't try to be a superwoman, but be a high performing woman. So they don't want to fail. That fear of failure is what drives us. So I think men just feel that way because now they are because if you tell her, okay, I want to eat this, I want to eat that, and now she can tell you, okay, but is it possible that can we just manage this? So then you now start feeling, because today she's the one buying the meal, she's now telling me this. Do you understand? So I just think we're rational and we do things based on rationality. We don't just do things anyhow. So I don't think women are actually bossy. No, they are not. They are very loving, and it just depends. They give you what you give them sometimes. So if that's what you've been giving them, so when the tables turn, then she now say, oh, okay, welcome, sir.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the trend. What are the current trend in terms regarding some of the discrimination or marginalization? Apart from this education and so on, this one that have been said over and over and again, do we have new trends in same way that you can mention? We have parents prioritizing the boy child to a girl child, but I think these gaps have closed on this day. Do we have new trends? Okay,
they have not closed actually. They are still there. Probably maybe you haven't been to communities where you actually see this. They are reducing, but they are still there. So one of the major issues that girls face here right now is that, for example, in Gombe, we have a significant problem, which is barima. Barima is farm labor. And the girls usually come out on the streets whenever it's rainy season. Instead of them to be in school, they'll be there with. So girls are seen as they support the household more in the north where we work here. Because they usually send them to go and farm in another person's farm. And at the end of the day, they are paid a meager amount, maybe 100 naira or 115 naira per day. And in that process,
which is not even used for herself, it's used for other the family.
In that process, she's exposed to a lot of things like gender-based violence. She's exposed to a lot of things because the people there at the farmland can abuse her. She's exposed. We know what is happening now, the insurgency that is going on. So she can now be asked to stop school because probably when there's insurgency, is the girls that are most affected. Schools are closed, so you can't, and they tell you don't go out. So girls are the ones that are the major recipients of this. So insurgency is one of our major issues. Most of schools have closed, particularly now in Katsinas and areas like that. There were times they went to girls' schools and they kidnapped them. So they are fond of going to girls' school to kidnap them. So those are some of the issues that we're facing. And this barrier of a thing in Gombe, it's a significant issue. Girls are there, they are taken there to the farmland, and how much do they get at the end of the day? Very little. Girls are sent to work in people's houses. And once your parents send you to work, they don't give you the salary. They send the money to your parents. So it's your parents that are living on. Some parents will even tell you that, okay, that money that you want to pay for my house, I've heard cases like that. We're going to use that money to pay their brother's school fees. So the boy is in school while the girl is working in another person's house. So there's still that issue of prioritizing because she's working to sponsor her brother through school. And he is supposed to take care of her because he's supposed to be her guardian. And it's the other way around. So these issues are still there. Girls still face significant marginalization. And in most schools where we have worked, we notice that they don't even have segregated toilets. Sometimes you have only one toilet. And when a girl is on her period, she doesn't go to school because she does not have anywhere she can take care of herself properly.
Talk about helping society. You are one of the advocates. A lot of people argue that advocates like you sometimes concentrate in the urban areas where you don't reach the grassroots. Speak to us about yourself. How much of this impact have you had spreading across the country?
Thank you. Like I mentioned, at the Girl Education Foundation, we started in Gombe, and that's where we are right now. So we are working with underserved communities. We don't have girls in Gombe City. We have girls in 3 local governments in Gombe State across the 3 geopolitical zones. We have girls at Nafada, Kumo, and Kumo is Ako local government, and Balanga. So when you go to those comments, when you see our videos, when you see those girls, you know that those are the people that really need support. We're not working in the hinterland. We're not working based on our convenience. We're working in hard-to-reach communities because we know they have been left behind. And we're trying to see how we can bring them to speed so that they can join the conversation and also help in bringing about solutions. Like today in Gombe, we have decided to set up a club. That's the girl club in one of the schools there, to see how we can help girls. The name of the club is this Let's Talk, or Mui Magana in Hausa, so that we can amplify their voice. How are we going to amplify them? How are we going to get them to talk about their issues? So this is one of the ways. And for example, here in Abuja, I told you we went to Gwarumpa village. That's what they did the coalition to enter. We didn't go to one of the private schools. We went to Gwarimpa village. And Gwarimpa village is it's a village, like from the name Gwarimpa village. We went to the LEA there, the secondary school there, and we're able to get these girls to come together. They have a club, girls club. And we're trying to see how we can help their agents, how we can help them actualize their dream, how we can support their life trajectory. So these issues that you mentioned, yes, some concentrate in the urban areas, but we don't concentrate. We go to the hinterlands. Do you know Gwagwa? We go to Gwagwa here in Abuja. Those are places that are very, remote kind of areas. We go to Gwagwa, we go to very, very, very places in Abaji, very, very far places, because we want to see how we can help them. So that's what we're doing. We're not working with people that already have support. We're working for those that do not have support. We're working with underserved communities that without our support, they will not be able to achieve their full potential.
All right. Samira Galadima, the program manager, Adult Girl Education Foundation. Thank you for coming on the program. It has been very interesting and informative.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, girls. And thank you, he for she's.
All right. I'm a he for she, actually.
So that's Grace.
All right. That is this week on the spot. We heard it all. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.